That was a kind of challenge in itself.
Slightly, and you've mentioned it already, summer schools. We're coming up to the summer school season. What's your experience of summer schools, and how impactful do you think they are? And
obviously I've worked on a lot now. I've probably worked on them all.
You've got to hold the record.
Yeah.
It's got to be your Claire.
Yeah, definitely. I've worked on year 8, year 10, year 12.
Have you got a favourite? Are they different? Are they similar? Or?
I think I'd probably say that I do like the older years summer schools, and just because I think with the year 12, the experience Warwick year 12 summer school, it was the students are a bit more mature, and you have less kind of behavioural problems, and maybe that's me just trying to say that it's easier. But I think it's also you can have really good conversations with them about their futures and things, and I quite like working with the older students.
Again, that's different because that is definitely one of the plus sides of working with the year 12s, because they by that age they kind of know pretty much that they want to go to university, and it's very much a feel. Whereas say for the year 10 summer school, for instance, that's where you see for me like the biggest growth and the biggest change over a week, and like attitudes and stuff. So they're both definitely, I know you said like behavioural issues, I agree, year 10 and the younger age groups probably you do get more behavioural issues, but it's like they're both impactful but for different reasons, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. And there was also we did a year 11 experience health sciences summer school, which was half at Warwick, and then we moved to London to show the kind of medical school there. And that was a kind of challenge in itself, because obviously you had half the week here, and then you were moving them up to London, and at Queen Mary's University, and kind of they were in charge there. And we were kind of being taken out for day trips and taking the kids around London, and obviously you're responsible for all those students, and it was a real challenge. You couldn't switch off at all.
Getting the tube with 30 students.
God. And you didn't want to lose any. You were constantly doing head counts, but it was good because it was like 15 students from the local area here, and then 15 students from London, and bringing them together, and it was like two different worlds kind of collided, and but by the end of the week they're all great friends, and they realise they have things in common, and that they're not different. They're just but it was really surprising to see actually how little the students from London had actually kind of travelled.
Scary, isn't it?
Out
Some
of
of them
London.
I'd never seen a cow in a field or anything
the
like
fields,
that.
they were like, there's no buildings, and it was just crazy.
I suppose touching on your role and summer schools, do you want to talk a little bit about like the planning that goes into summer schools? Because I'm not sure people fully appreciate, like we've just spoke briefly about how intense the events are, like when you're on them, like you can't switch off and everything, but the planning, there's a lot of planning that goes into them as well, isn't there?
Yeah, I don't think, as you say, I don't think people realise sometimes that we actually start our planning at Christmas time for the next summer. So, it's things such as deciding on who we're going to target. We would have to open applications to schools or students, depending on how they apply. We work through a huge task list. We have to recruit student ambassadors to work, academics to lead sessions, create new programs for the event, do all the safeguarding side, and there's a huge task list, and it's it takes a lot of people. There's as I said, the team that I manage, the support team, they're a huge part of that. We couldn't do it without them. They spend weeks creating labels and packing Yorkies and ordering freebies, and there's a huge amount of work, and then it literally goes past so quickly in the blink of an eye, and you're like, wow, all of that planning towards that 1 week or a few days, but as we said, it is totally worth it. It's just to see the the kids have an amazing time, and at the end of the week, you know,
Yeah.
kind of they may have changed their perceptions. At the beginning of the week, you'll ask them if they you know, are interested in going to university, and they're always like, not sure, or no.
Yeah.
And then by the end, they're like, oh, definitely,
Yeah.
100%. And, you know, it's just to see that. It's totally worth the amount of work
Planning.
and sometimes stress that you know, you have.
And then we literally probably get maybe 3 or 4 weeks off, and it's like the planning starts again. So
Yeah.
we're always kind of in summer school.
Yeah, it's just a
mode, aren't we?
cycle.